Plaintiff Anna Harris and her boyfriend Edgar Torrance say one night at 2:30 in the morning, Anna's truck was the victim of a hit and run in her apartment complex parking lot. Anna claims she learned it was the defendant's cousin who hit her car. And since the defendant lives in the same complex, Anna is holding her responsible. So she's suing. Defendant Brenda Alexander says on the night of the incident, she woke up to Edgar banging on her door with a shotgun. Brenda claims Edgar threatened to harm her and her children. She believes they also vandalized her car, so she's countersuing.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Well, on July the 2nd, it was a Sunday, I say about 2:30 a.m., there was a hit and run on my truck. The neighbor to the right of me, she said she heard the crash and she came running outside because she thought it was her truck. So when she seen it was my truck, she came and knocked on my door, tried to wake me up. And for whatever reason, I don't know if I was just tired from work or whatever, but I didn't hear it. So I say the next morning around 11 o'clock, he came over to my house to see the kids. And I walk into the door, the neighbor to the left of me, she like, hey, did you see Anna's truck? And he was like, no, what's wrong with it? And she was like, I think you need to go look at it. So he went over there and looked at it, and that's when you seen the front right side of my truck was basically on the ground, tore up in pieces. So he came, he was knocking on my door, and when I opened the door, he said, hey, what happened to your truck? I said, I don't know. And so he ran outside. So I ran out behind him. That's when I seen my truck in pieces all over the ground or whatever. So at this time, a bunch of neighbors were outside, so we were trying to ask, well, basically he was trying to ask because I was still in shock from seeing my truck. So he was asking like, you know, what's going on? Did anybody see what happened? Who did this to the truck and everything like that? So a neighbor that was passing through when it actually happened, he described the car. He said it was a white 4-door car that hit my truck. And so by them explaining that, you know, describing that car, he immediately knew whose car it was. So
And who was that? Who did you all determine that was?
Her cousin.
Okay, let me hear from you.
Hi. All I know is I woke up to her boyfriend beating on my door with a shotgun. I didn't know anything until after that.
What was he saying?
He was telling me, you need to call your cousin B and tell her to get over here because she didn't hit my girl car. Just saying a whole lot of stuff.
So did you ever talk with the plaintiff about it?
No, she has never came to me and said anything to me.
Ma'am, have you ever spoken with her? If not, why? You trying to avoid confrontation? And who have you spoken with then?
I haven't, like, at the time, you know, like I said, I was still emotional about it or whatever. So he asked most of the questions, but we were outside trying to get information on, you know, can you get her over here? They end up getting into their argument. So by the time it was getting heated, which he didn't have a shotgun, he had a bat. So,
Yes, he did.
he had a bat. So, by they were getting heated. So I
What
told
were
him,
you
hey,
doing?
I was just, I mean, I was,
Nothing.
I couldn't
Nothing?
do anything
All
really.
right, nothing. Go ahead.
So I got him. I told him, hey, look, you need to come on over here with me so I can call the police, get this taken care of the right way. Because the way it's going, it's not going in a good direction. And the next morning,
Did they contact the cousin that you knew?
they didn't tell me anything. Because by the time when I guess we were calling the police at the same time. When I was calling to report a hit and run. When she was calling, she was reporting a shotgun. So when they pulled up, he still had the bat in hand, and the police got out with his hand on his gun. He like, put that bat up, put it up, you know. And I was like, you know, what's going on? I didn't find out till later that she said that he had a
What
shotgun.
did she do to your car, though? How is she involved in the damage of your car?
Because I have the lease right here that states that if you have guests or someone living with you or anything like that, that damages the property or any property surrounding, that you're responsible for it. Initially, I wasn't trying to get her to pay for it. I was trying to get in touch with her cousin. But when I went to the office the next day, this was a Sunday, so the office was closed, no one was there. I went the next morning, 8 o'clock sharp, and I spoke with the manager to make a complaint, which I have that too. she came in right after after I was writing my complaint, she wrote hers, and she was still talking about this shotgun thing, so we ended up getting into an altercation in the office. No physical altercation, just basically like a screaming match. So she told me to leave and come back at 4:30 because I had to work that morning. So I came back at 4:30 and she had both of us in there trying to basically do a mediation type of thing, because she was like, the 4th is tomorrow, we're not gonna be here, we don't want this to escalate over into the holiday. So we both, she
So
said.
what happened? How did that conversation end?
She gave a girl's name and number.
Her cousin? Is that who
Yes.
we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
She gave a girl's name and number, which she said, first she said it wasn't her cousin, it was
You
her
think that
friend.
she's responsible because it was her cousin and because your lease, you think, says that.
Yes,
But that's
sir.
not what your lease is saying, I'm sure. It's a standard clause in most leases that your associates who you're hosting cannot damage the owner's property. That's what they're talking about. They're not talking about a third person damaging your property.
And
The resident shall be responsible for damages to the dwelling unit and or other premises, common or public areas in the community that are caused by the negligence or intentional acts or omissions of the resident, household member, or guest. But responsible for what? Damage to any dwelling unit or common public area. Not a guest who goes outside and runs into a car drunk driving before they leave the complex. The resident is not responsible for that person unless the resident knew that that person was too drunk to drive and kept giving them drinks or didn't advise them to stay, perhaps then. But in the case of a resident's friend or family member doing wrong to someone else, it doesn't say they're responsible. This says the resident's friend or guest is responsible for anything that happens to the property owner, your landlord's property. You don't care anything about your property. Landlord care about his property. That's what this is for. This is to protect him. He ain't protecting your property. They can steal, cheat, rob, whatever they want to you. Just don't mess with my property. That's what this is. That's why I say I knew what you were presenting, and that's what it represents, is that clause. You have that person's name. Why haven't you tried and track the cousin down?
when she gave, when we were in the mediation in the office, she gave me the name. She didn't give me the number, and she said I can take that name, take it to the police station, and they can
Did you?
handle it. Yes, I did. But at the same time, the property manager, she said that she kept calling the number and using other numbers to call the other number. It wasn't ringing. She said she, in all honesty, because she's lied before, she said she doesn't think that it's a right number.
I have no idea where she is.
When's the last time you talked to her?
The day after the incident
And you
happened.
haven't spoken with her since?
No, I have not.
So you all didn't have regular contact?
No. She was there the evening before. I wasn't even at home when this particular incident happened.
And before that, how long had it been?
What, you mean since I've seen her?
Yeah.
Well, probably a couple weeks.
Okay, so you all would see each other regularly?
Not regularly.
Couple weeks before,
No, I'm
and the
saying
day
she was
first
at
it
my
was
house.
the day before. Then it became a couple of weeks before. You saw it
I'm
3
saying-
times in 2 weeks.
No.
That's what you just said. I said, when did you see her prior to the incident? The day before. When
Yeah,
did you
'cause
see her
my
prior
daughter's
to
birthday
that?
party.
It had been a couple of
A
weeks.
week, yeah.
So, the day of, the day before, and 2 weeks earlier. That's 3 times in 2 weeks.
Alrighty.
But now you've never seen her again.
Now
Now you don't know where she disappeared
I
to.
don't, because after I
She's
talked to
somewhere
her
in the
about
sky.
the situation.
I have no idea.
All right, I got you.
I think you're conspiring to hide her.
No,
I
I
do.
don't know where she's at.
Pardon?
And I don't even talk to her.
Yeah, I think you're conspiring. I think you're part of a conspiracy to keep her away. Tell me about the harassment, sir.
Harassment, I don't know where that comes from.
She said you pulled a gun or a baseball bat,
Yeah, I'm
one
about
or
to
the other.
say, now let me break that story down, Your Honor. When
Go
I
ahead.
first got to the apartment, to Miss Harris' house, the neighbor had asked me if I seen her truck. You heard all that part. When I knocked on the door and went in the house, I had got my bat. I didn't know it was her. Nobody directly came to her house. I know Mrs. Alexander because I used to go over her house and stuff like that. Like, me and her were kind of cool like that. And, Your Honor, I know her and her crowd parties But
No, we don't.
basically,
No, we don't.
Marilyn Manson
No,
party.
we don't.
But
No, we don't. And you gonna cut that out with your lying self. You gonna cut that out because I don't party.
Hey, Kiss ain't
I
got
don't-
nothing on them, boy, I'm telling you.
Whatever, and you heard what I said.
Now,
I don't even
Back to
party.
the study. Back to what I was saying, Your Honor. Basically, this cousin that she talked about, me and her have had conversations about how drunk this cousin gets. And basically, the night that it happened, the people that was telling us, basically the neighbors who was breaking it down to us that actually seen it eye for eye, they said when the car came speeding in the apartment, basically the cousin, she flew like in the apartment like so fast that when I guess she tried to stop or whatever, she hit like the car and hit up on the curve and went like through the grass like by the houses. And the man said he seen Miss Alexander get out the passenger seat and go in the house and cut the
No,
lights
he
off.
did not see me.
Come
I wasn't even there. I didn't come home until 4 o'clock in the morning.
First time I
His
heard
name is
that.
Anthony.
Why didn't she tell me that? Why didn't you say
Most
that
of the
in your
story,
testimony?
She was over there by her truck, so.
But you knew that. That's a big factor in this case.
Yeah, but I was gonna let him tell you that because they told him that. They didn't tell me that. Because a lot of this story, when they was talking to him, I was talking to the police officer.
And you have a statement from anyone
Your Honor,
saying that he either told them or told the police he was told that? Yes.
We was gonna get a statement, but when they found out that they had to put names and
And the car damages, how did he damage the car?
After this incident happened, she made a point to park next to my car. And I just got my vehicle. I had no markings on my vehicle at all. I have 2 white markings on the side of my vehicle along with key marks around the handles where you open the door. And I see burgundy from my car on the door of her car.
You have a picture of that?
Yes, I do.
Let's see it. But ma'am, I believe you know how to contact that cousin and you're protecting her, and I'm going to conclude.
No, I gave
with
them the
being-
number.
I believe it. What I believe matters.
That's fine. But I gave them the correct name and the correct number.
No, you gave him the wrong phone number. You know
No,
how
I
to reach her.
didn't.
You know how to reach her.
I
So
didn't.
therefore, I'm going to conclude you're an accessory after the fact. And ma'am, I also believe that you caused these car damages. I don't think it's a coincidence, and I do see burgundy. And secondly, sir, I believe you were part of harassing this woman, and you were conspiring to harass her. Therefore, $2,500 for you, for her being an accessory after the fact and not revealing the location of the person who was her guest that damaged her car, and $2,500 for you for the damages you suffered and for the assault or attempted assault with a gun or a bat. Have a good day. That's my judgment.
Hope you get your car paid for, but it won't be on my dime.
And make sure you take that tight dress off too, boy. You like you better catch that thing.
You might wear the shut up.
Amazonian.
You want it though, don't you? Huh.
I want you got bigger shoes than me.
You want it. You want it. You mad because you
Then you got your 03 ponytail.
Boy,
man.
shut up.
You're looking like the
So-
Impala emblem. What's wrong
Nobody
with you?
worried about you.
Man, why you talking about Wendy Williams? And Wendy Williams, boy, that's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar right there. Big old way.
It is what it is. Basically, she has no proof that I did that to her car. Not until she found out that I was going to sue her, that's when the damages came to her car. So she did those on her own.
All I want to say is if you would have came to my door in the first place like a woman, a grown person,
Yeah, okay.
we would have never had to go through all this. You shouldn't have sent your man to my door
And you
with a
shouldn't have hit your
shotgun.
cousin.
She sent
I
me
didn't
into
hit her.
men.
You shouldn't
I didn't
hit your
hit her.
cousin. It's
I
still
gave
hiding
you her
her.
name and her real
And
number.
still hiding her. Bye.
Whatever. Get your car fixed.
Still hiding her.